So today we're going to be doing something exciting. We're going to be ranking the most popular money hacks. We're going to base this on how effective they are at saving you money or making you money. Now, I have tried countless number of techniques over the past few years, and some of them are very effective and some of them are just trash. So we're going to be using the well-known ranking system, starting with the S tier, and the S tier is going to be one that is essential, one that you definitely want to try, that's going to change your life. The A tier is one that is very useful, one that I still recommend to a lot of people, one that you should definitely implement in your life one way or another. The B tier is going to be one that I recommend generally to everyone, but it's something that can be useful in different situations. Now, the C tier is decent. It all depends on circumstances. It's one that is just meh, it can be useful. It also has its disadvantages. And the D tier are ones that have worked for others but not myself. So to begin, we have physically carrying your expenses. The idea to this is you want to always make sure whenever you're buying anything, you want to go out of your way to carry your expenses, to carry your shopping, so you can manage how much money you're spending every single month on whatever you're buying. Now, this isn't one that I've tried myself, but this is definitely one that is a bit odd to me. The reason why is, in this day and age, going out to actually buy things is a tough thing on its own, because you can literally purchase most things online within the matter of seconds. Carrying your expenses can make a difference, because what this is going to do is that you have to first of all go out of your way, and once you buy these, you're going to have different bags and you're kind of limited on how much bag you can carry anyway. So in this sense, I can see why and how it would be effective, because it's going to limit how much you can buy. And from my experience, whenever I go out to do shopping anyway, I usually end up not buying anything. I'll have plans to buy 10s or 20 items, but I end up just buying one or two things, either because I can't find my size, or I'm just going to find an item, or it's just too busy, or it just takes a lot of time. So realistically, if you can actually stick to this and actually be very disciplined, then I'll put this in an A tier. But that isn't the case for most people, and I don't think it's one that is really reliable, or is one that you can stick to for the next 2-3 years. So in my opinion, I'll put this in the B tier. Next, we have carrying and only using cash. This is one I've tried in the past. I did go through this for about a month or two, where I would never ever buy things online. Now, the biggest issue from this is withdrawing money. I personally hated going every single month to try to withdraw money, or whenever I'm going out to have to withdraw money, because I never actually had my card on me. I always used Apple Pay. So that was a big concern on its own. And the thing is, it didn't really stop me from withdrawing money, because I always withdrew money when I know I need money, because I always need to have some sort of cash on me. So this brings me next to the biggest issue of all, which is that whenever you actually have this cash, whenever I spend this cash, I always spend the entire thing. Tell me someone who actually break a £20 note and actually keep the rest of the £20 for the next 2 weeks. As soon as you split that 20, it's going to become nothing in literally the amount of a couple of days. So in our tier list, I'll definitely rank this as C. It's one you can try, it's one you can give a go. I mean, I've tried it for myself, it didn't work for me, but it can actually work for you. I'm moving on to one of my favorite. This is actually dedicating an actual spending account. This is one I recommended numerous times to several people who watch this channel. Having a spending account is when you actually get another bank card entirely just to have your spending money in, and that is all you get to spend every single month. Now, you want to pay yourself first. That's the biggest thing to this. Once you actually get paid every single month, you want to pay yourself, and you want this to be automatic. You want to have a direct debit straight into that spending card, and that spending card is going to be the money that you're allowed to spend for the entire month. Now, it's basically the same idea as paying your bills or having to pay your taxes, whatever. You pay yourself in the same way. So this is one that I'm still doing up till today, and it helps me a lot, because I can sort of plan the month after on exactly how much I'm going to have and what I'm going to spend that money on. And I believe I'm also disciplined enough to where that card is the only card I actually look into. I don't only check all my other cards to see how much money I have in them. I have this my spending card, and this spending card is all I focus on, because that's all I can spend. Keep this between 10 to 20% of your total income anyway. So you want to be generous enough to where you can stick to this and you're not having to go and get money from other places. But this is one that works for me. I'll put this in the S tier. So moving on to number 4, is going to be buying and selling used items. This is a hack in a way, because buying used items alone can save you a ton of money. A few months ago, I found out from a friend, he bought like a lens, and he bought it used, and it was a lot more affordable. When I used this lens, it did the exact same thing as all the lenses I've been buying that are brand new. And then I realized to myself, there's a lot of money I can actually save when you buy things like this. But there was one thing I faced. There was one major problem. The biggest issue is things like insurance. Now, this only applies to like tech items. I think when it comes to tech or expensive items, you want to buy them brand new, simply because if you have to return the item, now that's a whole issue on its own. You want to make sure you have insurance. You want to make sure you go from someone legit. Now, the perfect example of why I buy things brand new is the previous camera that I used to actually shoot. It broke about a year after buying it, and it didn't work at all. And I bought this camera from Amazon, and there was different policies and warranties that came with it. Once I phoned up Amazon, told them the situation and everything along that line, they gave me my money back entirely, and I was able to return the camera back to them. Now this was after a year and a half, or just over a year of me using this camera, and I got my full refund. So this is the reason why I buy things brand new, just because of the peace of mind. So I'll rank this as C, because it definitely can work for some people if you have no issue with just using used items every single time. Now moving on to the next thing, we have planning your meals every single day. This is a good one. This is a very, very good one. Now this is another cheat to save a ton of money. Planning your meals, the idea to this is you don't exactly have to write down your meals and have a whole calendar of what you're going to eat for the rest of the month. All you need to do is just subconsciously think about what you're going to eat the next day, or what you're going to eat in the afternoon, what you're going to have for dinner. Because what this does is you have something ready. Your body isn't going to be suddenly craving something because you've already programmed, or you at least are aware that there's something that you can eat at home. So this has been a cheat code in saving a lot of money, just having something always available to eat, especially if it's healthy. Then that's also going to help you and your body and nutrition and everything else. So this is one I highly recommend everyone should try. Just always have something that you can eat every single day. This is definitely something you should try, and I would definitely put this in the A rank. Next, we have saving up emergency funds. This is a very, very popular one. Now it's said that the average American cannot come up with $1,000 in emergency funds. Now this is huge, because the idea to emergency funds is that you want to have 3 months or 6 months or a year of your expenses already saved up. You can actually cover these expenses without breaking a bank, without having to reach out to your credit card or being in debt just to cover these expenses. Now some of these could be faults of your housing, or massive car issues that you actually have to take care of immediately, or anything else that can come up that is pretty expensive and unexpected. The biggest thing from this is just the peace of mind. Just having peace of mind is one of the key best thing in the world, really and truly. If something isn't giving you peace of mind, then why are you doing it? I guess the con from this is that this money is something you can have invested. Now for those who actually have a high expense, you can kind of always think about it as this is money you can easily put into the S&P 500, the stock market, crypto, whatever you want to put it in, and that can make you some money. I guess that's the biggest con, but you have to always see this as this is money that isn't exactly beating inflation, but this is money that can help you when the time comes. You don't always want to have to sell your stock just to cover any emergency expense. So let's just put this in the A rank. Next, we have investing in the stock market. Investing in the stock market does not mean penny stocks. We mean the general safer, let's say dividend stocks, or ETF, something that is actually guaranteed to make you money. Now this is definitely a big one. This is one I've been doing for several years now, and I would highly recommend that everyone invest their money in something like the stock market. The reason why is just because it gives you the biggest return out of most things out there. Things like bonds ain't going to give you as much return as a stock market, or just putting money in the savings account isn't going to give you that much back. So if you really want your money to work for you, you're going to put in something like the stock market. Now personally, I would recommend investing in companies and not stocks. Now the difference between these is companies are companies that this is when you have the knowledge on certain companies, you have faith in them, you know exactly what they do, how they're going to be in the future, because you know exactly what their business model is. Stocks are simply just lines. Stocks are just companies that you don't really know of. They're just charts. You just look at the numbers and you're just hoping that the line goes up, the line goes down. This is when you kind of lack knowledge on exactly what you're investing in. You're just doing it just because maybe your friends or other people are. So you want to invest in companies. When you invest in companies, you have a peace of mind. This is when you're not looking at what's going to happen in the next week, the next month, the next year. So that way you don't fall into the temptation of selling and buying and selling and buying back. So you want to invest into good companies that have proven record, they have good trends, you know exactly what they do, you believe in the company. But this is one I highly recommend. Whatsoever way you want to do it, you want to invest into some sort of stock market, either for dividends or some sort of passive income. If you really want to be safe, invest into the ETF. I've made several videos on this, so just look through the channel and you'll definitely find more on this topic. So I'll put this in the S rank. This is how the rich get richer. This is how people continue to make money in their sleep. Rather than you working for money, you can have your money working for you. Next of the hacks, we have selling your car. So it is known that the 3 biggest expenses is going to be housing, transportation, and food. Transportation being a form of having a car. Now what makes owning a car very expensive is usually the leasing, because most people are not actually dropping 30k on a brand new car, or 50k on a brand new Tesla. Now that's going to be extremely expensive, so most people are paying for these cars for the next 3, 4, 5 years. So that is a constant expense that is leaving your card every single time, and for some people it can be a burden, because you can't just get out of the contract whenever you want to if money is tight. If you can just avoid having a car, generally in the UK the transportation system is actually quite good. So if you don't own a car, I'm telling you, you're going to save a ton of money. But the biggest trick to this, or why it's so difficult, is the moment you own a car, I can't lie, it's kind of difficult to get out. It's definitely one that will save you a lot of money. I would definitely put this in the B rank. It's one that is useful. You will save a ton of money, trust me. But if you have a car, then I'll recommend buying it outright if you can afford one, so you don't actually get a lease. But if you have to get a lease so you can get a very, very good car, then just make sure that you do have a ton of money ready. Next, we have having all your money in cash and never shopping online. Now this is different. The idea to this is you want to have all of your money in cash. This is not just spending money in cash. You want to have your entire net worth in cash. Now this is one that I would definitely say this is trash. I mean, I've tried it before. Personally, it didn't work at all. Not only because you have to withdraw all the money you have from all of your bank accounts and have it in cash, so you just don't have any way of spending card at all. Secondly, you're not earning any money in terms of any investment. That's another big issue. I guess, yes, you can actually put your money in a card, then put it onto the stock market, so that way you can't sell your stocks then now take the money. But again, this is just a bunch of headache. But most of the time, if you have money in cash, it's very risky. God forbid, you know, that money just disappears or gets burned or someone steals it. So I did this in the past. I had a safe, I had all my money in there. But again, it goes back to the same issue where whenever you do want to spend money, you're going to have to break some sort of cash, and the moment you split that cash, you're going to end up spending the entire thing. If you're the type that you know that once you split a 20, you're going to spend the entire 20, then there's just no point. Personally, I'll just put it straight in the D rank. It didn't help me at all, just because your money is just losing money. Your money isn't working for you at all. It's just money laying around. So if you have found any value in this video, I appreciate if you guys do subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.